Okay. So just before I start I'm going to start as I normally always start with my grounding and connecting meditation so that we're all on the same, literally on the same wavelength. For those of you who don't know Simon, he is my husband, but he's also been working with me with Animal Talk Africa for, I don't know, about 15 years. So, and I'll speak more about his role in the retreat a little bit later. And then Joey, I've known since, well, you'll learn how long we've known each other for over 20 years as well. So, and this is quite a momentous occasion that we are hosting this retreat together. And you'll learn more about all of us as the hour goes and unfolds. But before we get into any more details, let me just share my screen. And so that on the screen in front of you, you can see an image of one of the beautiful landscape views of the Sneeuberg Nature Reserve. Oh, so if you want to, just make yourself comfortable. We're going to start our meditation. Just wait, I think there's one more person coming in. You can rest your eyes gently on the screen, on this land, in the heart of the Karoo, this land called the Sneeuberg, meaning snow mountains. Just focus on your breath. If you feel more comfortable, close your eyes. As you rest your feet gently on the ground beneath you. Become aware of the soles of your feet beneath you, holding you, resting and connecting with the solid earth beneath you. Feel the support of Mother Gaia, Mother Earth, Mother Nature. Relax into her embrace. Know that she supports you in every way possible. Now as you breathe, become aware of a beautiful rose gold sparkling light surrounding you. This light represents the unconditional love of Mother Nature, Mother Nature's pure love. And as you breathe, breathe it into your heart space, the center of your chest. Feel your body relaxing into this space. As that energy of love filters through your breath into your heart energy center. And as you breathe it in, feel it, see it, experience it, cleaning and clearing anything that feels heavy right now. Anything that may be weighing you down, making you anxious, worrying you. And see and then feel and experience it lifting. See it dissolving. feel the weight lifting off you. Feel the heaviness transform into a lightness of being, into joy, into hope, into gratitude for this breath, for this life. And once again, breathe that light into your heart space. And as you breathe, become aware of your own pure love for Mother Nature and all the beings who live with her and are part of her. And breathe once more, feeling with each breath this heart field of love expanding from your heart center in all directions. Feel it expanding throughout your body. And then beyond your body, your physical body. Feel and see this heart field of light and love expanding from your heart center, connecting you with all that is, expanding into the environment that you're sitting in, beyond the room, beyond the walls, into the gardens, beyond the streets and the village and the city and the town, into the wilderness, beyond the borders of the countries, beyond the borders of the land, over the oceans and into the oceans, connecting us all from all parts of the globe. Feel that connection of Mother Nature's eternal, unconditional love. And as we stay in this heart field, feel the connection that you have with all beings, the animal beings, the plant beings, all the little insects, the birds, the waters, the soil, the rocks, the minerals, the clouds, everything, the air, all that is. Realize in this space that there is no separation, that we are one. And as we open this very physical gathering to explore the Sneeuberg Nature Reserve, we stay in this heart field with our hearts protected, safe within Mother Nature's love, but open. And staying in this heart field, we become aware once more of our physical body. So bring your attention back to your own heart space where you are sitting now in the room. Feel your feet firmly on the ground. Feel the connection to your earth where you are, the ground that you are living on, staying in at this moment. Take a big deep breath in. Slowly breathe out. And when you're ready, bring your awareness back into the room. Open your eyes. Reconnect with the humans that are on the screen in front of you. And let us open this meeting. Thank you. I'm getting a little notice that my internet is unstable, so perhaps if people aren't speaking, we can go off camera. And Joey, if you stay on camera, then thank you. Okay. So I hope everyone is feeling grounded and yet connected after that introduction. And I'm just going to say a little bit about, I mean, most of you know me, so there's a few that don't. I've been working as a professional animal communicator, IIC practitioner, since about 2003, 2004. So I started my journey officially, consciously in about 2001. And that journey has developed over the years into so many different things. And one of the, I'm going to speak about the heart work in a little while. But one of the ways that this journey of into IIC has unfolded is with Simon, my husband, and who was very new to this all when we met. It's about 18 years ago now, 17 years ago. But completely came on board with me and realized how that it works, and it is, and it's part of life. And his journey has taken him into a really beautiful space of kind of, I know he doesn't enjoy when I say the sacred masculine, but he brings the masculine energy into the work, especially the in-person retreats. And those of you who have done the virtual Starline journeys will know Simon very well. Him holding the space there and working, doing the camera work as well with all the animals. And he has an amazing connection with nature and the wild. So he'll be part of the journey at Sneeuberg and holding that container for transformation, the work that we will be doing there. Simon, do you want to say a couple of words?
Thank you. The other thing that I've brought, I believe, to the picture is over the last few years is it became I became aware of the fact that there's so many people doing such good work. How, as a business person, I'm looking at what are the risks, what are the obstacles of continuing and doing this work efficiently for the benefit of the planet and the animals and the environment. And one of the things was the fact that people inadvertently go ill. They become um, uh, unable to do the work because of illness or injury or even emotional illness. And so I've been working the last couple of years with things that a lot of you would know about, just basically energy healing, if you like, using healing intention. Some of you have heard of the matrix, the field, the divine matrix, the power of eight. So one of the things we'll be touching on, and I believe in the first morning, is cleaning and clearing so that we can do the work for the rest of the entirety of the retreat when we're all together. Um, so I'm bringing a little bit of that knowledge, and I've actually run a separate group from home now, albeit virtually, online, and that's bringing all sorts of benefits to a small group of people, and we're looking to expand it. So I'm looking forward to meeting those of you who are coming and working with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you so much. And Joey, Joey's going to be telling us a little bit about that beautiful space that she is one of the spiritual guardians of, um, and one of the very, very human guardians as well, on a practical level. So, Joy, I'm going to hand over to you so you can explain about all the beauty of the land.
Okay, thank you so much, Wynter. Um, I think I would like to start with a bit of a slideshow so you can all see what we are talking about. And let me share my screen. It wants to. There we go. So, yeah, I'll talk a bit with some slides and then talk a bit about my friendship with Wynter. Um, so the Sneeuberg area was already depicted years ago by a Dutch explorer, and this is one of the old maps that he drew. And you can see in the middle it says Sneeuw and Bergen, so the snow mountains. And this was drawn around 1780. We are located about 1.5 hours from Graafrenet, but high up in the mountains at about 1,700 meters. And this makes it very special because I feel, yeah, well, we know we're like in a microclimate, so we have a bit cooler summers, but our winters can be really cold. And as the name says, we often get snow in winter, so it gets really cold here. So from Graafrenet, it's about 45, no, say half an hour tar road, and then it's still 45 minutes off-road up the mountain. So, but the traveling there is also part of the experience, because you see so many animals on your way there, and so it's not a bad thing to travel that road. There is a lot of history to this area, and humans have lived in this area for thousands of years. And we have evidence that the first people, the Khoi, were herding cattle and fat-tailed sheep, and we also have many rock art on the reserve. So when you come and join us for the retreat, we will definitely take you to these sacred spaces, and they're really beautiful. And it's remarkable how long these pieces of art have lasted. The first Dutch nomadic farmers, we call them, I guess, the voortrekkers, moved into the area between 1750 and 76. And from the 1830s to the early 1900s, farmers from the Cape Colony started replacing the nomadic farmers. So there is a lot of history. And as soon as the real, say, the real farmers came in, a lot in the landscape also started to change. One of the main things that had a huge impact was the fencing, which started to restrict wildlife from moving around. And so that was a huge change in landscape. Obviously, it was important for the development of farming, but yeah, I guess detrimental for wildlife. So farming continued in this manner, actually up to 2002. And the landscape also changed. So it's not only the fencing, but the farmers also brought in different species. Like you can see on this picture, you can see the poplar trees, and more low, you can see the willow trees. So these were all species that weren't originally in the Karoo. And on the one hand, they're beautiful and they create a shade and shelter for the animals, but like the poplar trees, they are also a bit invasive because they use up a lot of water, which is relatively scarce in the Karoo. This is a picture of my mother and I, and my mother came into this area as a child already. Her parents were friends with the owners of some of the farms of this area, and she started buying up the farms. And her dream was to turn it into a nature reserve. So one of the first things that she did was to start taking down the fencing, which allowed the wildlife to roam around again. She began by purchasing 2 farms in 2002 and added neighboring title deeds to this area until it was about 14,500 hectares, which it is now. And in 2004, she founded Sneeuberg Nature Reserve. So the fencing was, most of the internal fences were removed, and she also introduced new animals or reintroduced animals that used to live here before the farmers took over. So there are species like black wildebeest, blesbok, zebra, red hartebeest. So slowly but surely, the wild animals returned and the landscape started to change. So here's a picture of the black wildebeest. These are the blesbok that you can see when you're here, and the beautiful zebra. And the funny thing was my mother was enchanted by Nguni cows. So she decided to also bring those to the reserve again. And sorry, just checking my notes. Oh, one important thing I need to mention is that she reintroduced all these animals, but it was a decision to not bring in predators again, because she wanted to offer a safe space to walk and cycle. In 2019, my mother passed away, and my brothers and I started to take over the farm. So it was quite a process, you know. When people die, it's not like you automatically inherit everything. It was a 3-year process to get it in our name. And since then, we have focused on restoring all the buildings and adapting them for guest accommodation. So today we offer different self-catering houses across the reserve. And our aim is to preserve the natural environment while making it still accessible for visitors. And yeah, we want to offer people a place where there's quiet and solitude and darkness, because there are only few places in the world where you can still really, really see the stars at night. We are also taking the houses off grid, one by one. This is important, you know, to save energy, but also we've had birds flying into power lines. So it would be amazing if we can get all the power lines off the reserve. It would make it a much safer space. So Sneeuberg is still an evolving landscape. There are still many traces of the old agriculture. I mean, we're still clearing fences. When I walk through the veld, I'm always picking up old pieces of wire, and when we can, we just plan a whole day and we just pick up wire. And when it rains, more wire comes up. You know, it's like it's like the land is still like spitting it out, and but it's an amazing feeling when you clear an area. It's so beautiful. It's not only, you know, the removing the site of wire, but it also feels like you're freeing up the landscape. Um, so yeah, Sneeuberg, I mean, obviously it will never be the same as before all the Ford trekkers came and before it was fenced. So, but we're doing our best to make it as natural as possible and to listen to the land and to its inhabitants. And and I think one of the yeah, so I think this retreat that we're planning with Wynter is also a huge part of listening to the land and hearing what is necessary. Um, Part of the agricultural history is obviously are the horses. And when we took over Sneeuberg, I just realized, because I have a very horsey, very horsey history, that it was time to set them free. And so we have a herd of 12 horses roaming the reserve, and they're semi-feral. But if you're calm and quiet, then you can come close to them. I know them very well because I work with them a lot, also for emergencies. We recently had an outbreak of eye infections, which Dr. Brett knows a lot about because he really helped me to deal with that. Um, they're a wonderful connection to the old agricultural system, but also to the new, because to me they depict a new way of how we can see horses and be with horses instead of having them as as tools like they were used in the past. Sorry, I need to sip here. Mm. So here's another nice picture of the horses, and you can see the zebra in the background. So they just mingle with the wildlife. It's really amazing. And just a little bit about me. So this is me with Tabo, one of the not so feral horses. He's just like a cuddle bear. And uh, yeah, what can I say about myself? Animal communication has always been a part of my life, and but I chose a bit of a different path. I went into equine craniosacral therapy, and I did kinesiology. I studied feed for horses, and I learned how to to trim barefoot feet, and all of those sort of things. But then I realized at some point that, you know, even when changing everything for a horse, there was still this huge influence of the owner, and I realized that something needed to be done to maybe heal the relationship between the owner and the horses, but also to make people aware of how their energy impacts their animal, whether it's a horse or a cat or a dog. It's very important to be aware of your own energy. And this is how I came across the trust technique, which is developed by James French. And I've been studying with him for years now. And I've come to the yeah, to the stage that I'm now teaching groups, and I used to only teach individually, but I'm now also teaching groups. And so one of my aims is also to start teaching the trust technique at Sneeuberg. And so it's basically about lowering your energy and getting on the same frequency as your animal. And the interesting thing is that when I started doing this, I sort of reconnected to the whole animal communication part, because when you become so quiet, as most of you know, you start receiving messages again, and and your intuition becomes stronger. So somehow, through my whole work with horses and now the trust technique, I've sort of come full circle again with the animal communication. In 2005, and I actually started with animal communication. I met Wynter at a workshop by Amelia Kincaid. And this is us, if you can recognize us. So it's Amelia on the side, then Wynter, then a friend, Catherine, and then me. And gosh, we were so young, Wynter. We immediately hit it off. We had South Africa in common. And so Wynter being South African, and I and my mother being South African, it was just a huge connection. And we kept in touch all those years, and whenever possible, we would meet up in either South Africa or Europe. So also by inviting Wynter to Sneeuberg, it's something actually we've been talking about for years, but we never were able to get it together. But I think now the time is right. I feel ready. Wynter is definitely ready. she's been ready, but it's just amazing that we can combine our friendship with Sneeuberg and the land and our love for animals and nature. It's yeah, I think it's. I'm really happy that this is going to happen. This is us at Sneeuberg in 2008. Oh, we are so young. And this is in 2009 and in 2019, and behold, in 2020. So, yeah, Wynter, here we are. What? Yeah, so yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So this whole heart retreat, yeah, it's about all the things I mentioned before, but it's also about celebrating our friendship.
Oh, Joey, that's so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. It just brought back so many memories. And although I knew the basic history of your family and Sneeuberg, it was good to hear it all, you know, um, as you've presented it. So thank you for that. That's wonderful. Um,
Can I
has
start sharing my
Yes, you
screen?
can. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks. So, I wanted to just, after Joey, just speak a little bit about the intention or our intention for this retreat. You know, as you can hear how it came about. Um, Most of you know my work as an animal communicator has almost morphed into what I call heart work, which is heart energy achieving real transformation. And this came about quite gradually, but I had a bit of an aha moment in 2019 about how can people consciously engage in this magic, this miraculous occurrences that happen when we are communicating with other species or other beings. I was always very aware of this quality of when we're in communication with another, say another animal, magic happens, transformation happens. And I remember asking Amelia, when I was still just discovering this work and really going deeper, I said, you know, when you're working with missing animals, when we're tracking missing animals, sometimes we can't track them, and then we just see them coming home, and then they come home. Is that because they've heard us and they make their way home, or is it something else? Is it something, you know, this miracle that happens where we're connecting with the divine, we're connecting with something higher than just two physical beings? And she said to me, well, it's both. We're both, you know, and then, yes, and as I've done more and more work, it is both. It's the connection between us, the human being, and the other animal being, and something magic happens in the interim, in that crossover, as our energies move, you know, past each other, or just, it's not even past each other, move with each other. We can co-create magic. And I've seen this and experienced this happening for many, many years, even unconsciously, not consciously manifesting, you know, sort of visualizing and working with the concept or the end result that we want to see. But even unconsciously, just working with this energy of transformation when I'm in communication with other beings. And no, I'll if you do come onto the retreat, I'll explain it in a lot of detail, and give you examples of how transformation happens. Briefly, I can say I've had so much experience with Linda Tucker and the Global White Lion Protection Trust, how from one lioness born in captivity in the year 2000, on Christmas Day in a place called Bethlehem, how one woman, Linda Tucker, managed to bring her into freedom, and now her and her family, well, she's in the ancestral realms now, but her lineage is now roaming free in a protected large expanses of bushveld. And how did that happen? It wasn't just because there was lots of money or lots of support. It was the vision and the envisioning and the trust, the ceremonial nature of the work with, when you work with the White Lions, with Linda's work. And this manifested in something that is absolutely incredible. So when I visited Joey a few years ago, we started talking about how, you know, the land still needs more transformation, because, as Joey said, there's still remnants of that old style farming. You know, there's still remnants. It's not as it could be. And when I visited there in December last year, I went to the Bushman paintings, to the caves. We all connected with those first people, with the ancestors, and there was a great calling for more transformation. So that was when we started planning this retreat, and it's just starting to come together. So really, it is about having like-hearted, very committed, conscientious, conservation-orientated, I don't even know if that's the right word, but heartfelt people who are familiar with IIC, who are familiar with how animal communication works, coming together to see how we can learn to use our skills in communication with other beings to co-create transformation. And this is something that it's not only for the Sneeuberg, it's for all of us, and for something that you can take back with you into your own projects, your own lives. So the intention really is to bring a small group. There's only 8 people, 8 spaces of really dedicated humans that want to come in service to Mother Nature. And this is what we've put out. This is why we invited you to this call and invited you to apply to be a participant in this very unique retreat. There's quite a lot of information on the website, and I've actually today I put up the full itinerary. So if you go to the Animal Talk Africa website link, I will post it in the chat. You will be able to download the full itinerary. So that's the day-to-day itinerary. There's the application form. The process is obviously filling in the form, which has quite a few of the basic requirements, the questions. And then I'll communicate with you via email to connect more with you, to perhaps ask more questions. Maybe we'll meet on a Zoom call just to see if it's a good fit for you and for us. And then we take it from there. I'm thinking we can open up for questions now. We're running a little bit later than I expected. But if we can open up for a few questions. I know there was a question that I got via email about travel. The nearest airport is Quebec, or Port Elizabeth as it used to be known. There's a shuttle service. There's, all the travel stuff is very very organized, will be very organized for you. And we've actually added an extra night onto the initial offering, realizing that the traveling distance will be too much for most people coming from afar. So it is actually the Monday night is available that you can stay on as well. Which just assists for early morning travel in the next morning to get to the airport and catch flights and things. So if anyone wants to raise their hand, if they have a question, or you can put it in the chat as well. Oh, I'm trying to look at my chat. Okay. Julie, sorry. Hi, Julie.
Oh, thank you so much. I feel like this might be a forward question, so I apologize in advance. But I really sense a need for a release in the land. I can't explain it, but that's just a sense. And so, and I've heard. I'm sorry I haven't looked at the agenda or that itinerary or. And I know your husband mentioned the Power of Eight and some of that work. I guess I'm wondering about supporting that release as best, and how that can be just supported, or what's the, does that make sense where I'm?
I think so. Are you speaking about how, even if we'll include that I think that's going to be part of the retreat. Definitely the work how we work is that we connect with the landscape or all the animals that present themselves when we go out into the field. And we connect and we communicate. So we receive information from them, and then we take guidance from them. So just like you've had some guidance now, just from that brief intro meditation, I think, right, that there needs a release. Then we go deeper and we'll say, okay, what needs to release? How can we release it? How can we assist? How can we support? So the whole retreat is about supporting the land and the transformation that's needed, that is being asked for.
That's
Does
great.
that?
So that I can sense into that as a group together, we're processing, getting what we get, and then we're processing together. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's literally guided by nature. The agenda is, I mean, we've got times and sort of times just to fit in so that we've got a day, what a day is going to look like, but we can't guide the process. I mean, we do guide the process, but Mother Nature is the great teacher, if you know what I mean,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Okay, good. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. All right. If there's no other questions, I'd like to lead us into a heart meditation then. So you can get a slight sense of the work. Okay. Joey, Simon, do you want to say anything?
No, I think you explained everything very well, and no, I'm meant to thank you for your introduction meditation as well. I forgot to thank you, but that was lovely. So I think it will be wonderful to continue now with the heart meditation.
Okay. Thank you. Good. All right. Thanks, Simon. Okay. So I'm just going to, I thought we could work with this picture that was in Joey's presentation because it has the elements. You know, there are fences and a road and water, and there are so many animal beings in those mountains. And it's even got the clouds and the sunlight. Okay, so if everyone's ready, I'll leave it. And then I'm just how I normally do this is I'll leave you in. And then I speak into a little bit what's coming to me, and then there's a bit of silence where I want you to be open to whatever's coming. And you can, if you've got a notebook there with you, you can write things down, or otherwise just be in that moment um, of connection and communication. Alexa, you've got a question here before we start. How will the messages received by nature through us be implemented on the land? So the guardians, who Joey is one, and her brothers are very, very open to this work, and I mean it's taken to heart. Joey, I don't know. Do you want to say anything about that?
Yes, I think I am definitely very open because, you know, my heart is in the land and the land is in my heart. But we will listen to whatever comes out and try to implement it. But I mean, it might take more time, or there might be practical things that we have to think about. But I think step one is to start the process and see what we receive. And yeah, I think that's all that I can. Yeah, is promise a right word? I'm not sure if promise is the right word, but I can say I'll do everything in my power to implement whatever comes out. So I just want to say that I'm in it open-hearted and yeah, committed.
Thanks, Joey.
Can I just add something, Wynter?
Mm,
Just briefly for Alixa's question, I mean, the actual work that is an energetic transformation. It may not be a mechanism that is put into operation by the guardians of the land. It's about co-creating the transformations with the animals and, you know, looking for the best outcome for everyone and seeing it and trusting it will be envisioned and transformed. It may not necessarily mean men on the land digging up holes or filling in holes or picking up fences. It's the energetic transformation that is part of the work. Isn't that true, Wynter?
yes, and thanks, Simon. And the energetic transformation assists with the physical transformation. So um, that's how I see it. You know, it actually gives the humans the energy to, if they need the managers of the land, if they need a heart shift, if they need to shift their perception or their paradigm, that's what we're also wanting to help transform, and that happens when we are in the space. Um, so it might not be, if I don't know what example, if the horses say they want to have a different space to be, or or different food, or different, it's not as physical as that necessarily, but it is on a big picture stuff. We are working big picture here. And as Joey said, it could take many, many years. It will take. It's a whole process. It'll be generations of continual work. And if we can start working with the land this way, imagine what the next generation will be able to do if they continue with working, communicating with the land and nature. I think that'll be incredible. It is incredible. Okay. All right. Thank you. Make sure I've got all that. Okay. Let me just move my things around the screen. That's annoying me a little bit. Good. So once again, just make yourself comfortable in your seat. Just quieten your mind by gently resting your eyes on this beautiful landscape, or gently closing them. Feel yourself back into the heart field that we co-created together at the start of this gathering. Feel Mother Nature's unconditional love. Feel yourself dissolve into nature. Feel yourself connecting with these lands. Breathe. Breathe with the lands. Ask permission for your energy as it is at this time to enter into these lands. We come in service. We come to assist. We give thanks for this beautiful land and all the beings who live upon her, within her. We give thanks to all those elements that we know in our own lands and we feel in the Sneeuberg. We come with open hearts, offering our service. We ask these lands to share with us now whatever is needed to be shared, to support the Sneeuberg in its entirety. And this group. Go quiet now and then bring you back. And just be aware of everything that you sense, you feel in the space of connection. I see ripples of energy like sunlight reaching out, touching each and every one of us. showing us the warmth and love of the land. The ancient knowledge held within these spaces. The light of transformation ready to be released. The ache of the past being recognized and soothed. I see the animals dancing together in celebration. The beautiful blue cranes swooping and whooping in joy. I feel a great welcoming. And stay in this field for a little while longer, giving thanks. Become aware of your breath, your feet firmly on the solid ground beneath you. Become aware of your body in your own space. And feel the heart field of protection. And there isn't a need to disconnect, but you can withdraw so that you'll focus on your heart energy. Still being open to anything that comes to you after we have gathered here. But knowing that you are back in your human body, in the chair you're sitting on, in the room that you're on. And when you're ready, you can just move your fingers and toes. Maybe stretch your shoulders. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. if you'd like to turn on your cameras when you're ready, we can just say a quick goodbye. If I can just point out attention to Simon and the very, very special person gathering with us. She does not do this normally, and that's Purdy. So she normally doesn't like to be involved in on the Zoom meetings, but there she is on his shoulder. That's really beautiful. Dali, thank you. Yes, I felt that welcoming embrace as well. So if anyone got something that they'd really like to share with me and Joey, please send me an email, wynter@animaltalkafrica.co.za. I said I'd put when I send out the information for the recording, I'll also send out the link for all the itineraries and the application form and everything else. Does that work for everyone? Okay. Wonderful. Okay. This has been special. Thank you. Anybody want to say anything last minute?
Thank you, Wynter. That was beautiful.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you for the time and your presentation.
Thank you for connecting us back to where we are already. Thank you. Very beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you, Karina. Thank you.
Really. That was the one thing. It was like tears of joy when I asked to land, and it was like, wow, they're so happy that you connect and do this. Yeah, it's the mood, isn't it, that changes the whole. Thank you.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. It's all about love, isn't it? That's all there is. And Nancy saw the barbed wire fences replaced by people holding hands in a field of love. Oh, thank you, Nancy. That's beautiful. Thank you. Okay, everyone. So if you want to ask any more questions, you have my email address, and please feel free to, whatever you need. Just we're here to assist, and I would really love to have a full group doing this work for the land and for ourselves and for Mother Nature in general. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you. All right. Hope to see you soon again in some one form or the other. And thank you, Simon. Thank you, Joey. Thank you, Eleni, for being here as well and holding space with us. I know you're doing an elephant. Okay, I'll share that with everyone as well. Zimbabwe, just before the Sneeuberg retreat, so you could actually do both if you're coming from afar, communicating with elephants. So, very special journey. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much, and we'll speak soon. Lots of love. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.